of thought.
The prophet of thought.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Prophet of Thought series, right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you're here. Tonight, y'all, we have a very special guest. This lady here, if you folks know of her content, you know that she kind of puts you in the mind of the unicorn somewhat. Very unconventional with her content. The things that come out of her mouth you wouldn't expect to come out of most Black women's mouths, but it does. I've been chasing after her for a little while, y'all, trying to get her up on here, and she finally relented. She's gonna be up on here tonight. Ashley W gonna be live in the house, y'all, live and direct. If you're feeling generous tonight, there's the old link. I just put it in the chat. If you're feeling generous, and if you're feeling generous with some of those damn likes, see that button right there? Now, every time we come on the air, we always got to go through this. Always got to guide your hand. See that? Always got to guide your hand. See that button right there? You see it? Click it as you come into the door, for Christ's sakes. Click it. And if you're feeling generous, see these streams up here that Char to the Will. What's good, Char Will? It's so kind to have posted for a brother. You see those links up there? See the PayPal, see the Streamlabs. Drop a few coins in the bucket. If you don't want to drop a few coins in the bucket, at least drop a like in the bucket. If you don't want to drop a like in the bucket, drop some coins in the bucket. Well, shoot, you know what? Put some damn likes in the bucket and drop some coins in the bucket. How's that sound? Anyway, yeah, this lady here, Ashley W., what really got me hooked on her is this line right here. Listen up, y'all. When I heard this, I was like, this lady is what it is.
Dude, if you don't want to date her, don't have sex with her. No sexual contact.
When I heard that, I was like, you know what? This lady has something. Um, yeah, I don't have I'm not the fan of many uh women's content. The only female content that I kind of listen to is Sister Ali, because she's a friend of mine. I listen to her stuff. I listen to the classic one lady classic, part of the Unicorn 4. I don't really listen to a lot of female content, but her stuff I've actually watched. I've actually sat and watched it. And she does good content, man. She does a lot of her content like in her car, which kind of puts me in the mind of a Jap a little bit. And she drops some hard stuff. She does. She drops some good stuff, y'all. She does. I'm pretty sure y'all familiar with her, you know. Let me see who we got in the chat tonight. Let me shout out some names before Ashley W come on. Char Will, Lady Kendra, Don C in the house, Don Teasy. Who else we got up there? We got Water Sniper. What's good? Simply Deep. What's good? Q Wilson. What's good, brother? Yeah. So I figured I would bring y'all a little something different tonight because X likes to shake it up a little bit. He likes to shake it up. She'll be on in about 2 to 3 minutes, I believe. So while I'm waiting for her to come on, let me thank my donors. I actually got a couple donations Monday because for some reason y'all like to donate when I'm not on the air. I appreciate the donations. I do. I don't know why y'all donate when I'm not on the air. It's like maybe y'all watch it and then y'all think later, like, you know what? I'm going to give X $10. Maybe that's what y'all be thinking. I appreciate it just the same. I am not complaining, but it seemed like most of the donations I get afterwards. Well, maybe the donations is coming from people who watch the replay. I don't know, but whoever you are, you know who you are, because whenever I get a donation, like I say at the top of every show, I always give you a personal email. What's good, Lady Cats? I see you up there. Brother Faulkner in the house. Whenever I get a donation, I make sure I send you a personal email thanking you, talking shit to you at the same time, showing you my appreciation and my commitment to give you mind opening content and continue to do so. Because like I said, like I always say, whenever I get donations, what I do with it, folks, is I take that money, no matter what it is, whether it's $5 or $500, I match it. I match whatever it is and I put it to the side because the Prophet of Thought series is going to be doing some big things. Um, and also, you need to have your behinds up in here tomorrow because the Unicorn 4 will be here live and direct. And we're going to be talking about emasculation, the feminizing of the black man. So make sure you hear tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. And once again, I like to thank my donors. I appreciate it. And mods, if you could kind of keep the donation links up, because every now and then people want to feel a little generous. So, keep them going. And I definitely appreciate it. I see that we have been joined by our guest of honor. What's good, Ashley W?
What's up?
What's going on? I was just talking you up. I was just
Okay.
I was just talking about your content. I was just telling the folks as they start to file in that I don't listen to many female content creators. I have a lot of females on my team, part of the T.P.O.T team. I have a lot of females on the team, and I listen to their stuff, but I don't listen to too many female content creators. But I do listen to your stuff.
Well, thank you.
So let's get right into it. What brought you to YouTube? Let's start there.
Um, some of everything, some of boredom, some of I'm feeling comfortable and confident in myself and what I think and how I feel about certain things and my opinions on what's going on in this world. I think they're valid. I think I think that they're valid, and I should put them out there and see if people agree.
So I was just saying, I was just telling the folks that,
Hmm.
you have a very unconventional take on things, coming from a black woman, because we hear the noise that comes out of the black female sector of media, and to hear you talk, you're not part of that noise. You're somewhere else. So why do you take the stances that you take, far as uh single motherhood, far as men dating and all that kind of stuff? Why do you take that position, the positions you take?
Well, mostly because I I've been sitting back. I'm 31 years old. I feel like I've been sitting back and pretty much watching human behavior since I was a child. And in doing so, I would often see where women would just always it was always something. It's like they were never happy, and it was like, what do you need? And it's like you try to give it and it's never enough, and it's like, so what can I do? And I'm a woman thinking this towards other women. So I'm like, I know that men have to think like this. I was growing up and having situations where I'm like, women are mean, they're vicious, they're crazy, they're this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what men have to go through? And I've just never had the experiences that most women have had with men. I've never had to deal with situations where men were cheating on me and just leaving me all the time and trying to, just all this negativity like that females always seem to have in relationships. I've never experienced that. So I can't speak on a hurt that I don't have.
Hmm. So I was watching one of your streams today. I think it was today. Yeah, and I noticed that you have a daughter, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So being that you are a mother
Mhm.
of a child, why do you take the positions that you take, far as motherhood and single motherhood and parenting? Why do you take those positions? And also, this is a two-pronged question. Also, being that you take those positions, do you catch a lot of flack from other women?
I take that position because I feel like I have to, because I don't want my child to ever grow up and think that this is acceptable. I don't want her ever having the mentality that if I do get pregnant, it's okay, because it's not okay. You have made your life harder than it needs to be, period. Don't do it. And whatever I have to say in order to get her to understand that, that's what I'm going to do. And as far as other women, I don't know. I don't really have a big woman audience, honestly. And every now and again, I get a female or two in my comment section talking crazy. But for the most part, I don't really get anything from women, but them, telling me that I'm crazy and calling me a pick me.
A what? A
A
what?
pick me.
Oh,
A pick me. That's, yeah.
I know what that means.
Yeah, I did, and this chick called me a pygmy and then sent me a link to somebody named Deborah something's video about it, and it was like an hour and something long, and I had to sit down. I had to take it in batches because it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, and I had to take notes. Like I had legit notes. I typed them up and everything because it was that ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It turned into 3 videos. That's how ridiculous it was.
So, being that you are being that you are a woman, and obviously you're a woman of intelligence, I'm sure that, you know, on your streams you probably get a lot of thirsty dudes coming after you too, right?
I am the type of woman that I don't know when people are flirting that well. Like unless you're being very overt, I wouldn't know. And if you are, then it's cool. But that's not what I'm there for. So I kind of just brush it off.
So what makes you do you think your material out? Do you just jump in your car one day and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna make a video"? I mean, what motivates you when you get ready? Because I noticed that you have a lot of content. You make a lot of videos. I was watching your stuff today. What motivates you?
Um, Really, whatever's on my mind for the day, like whatever thought processes that I'm having, if I'm thinking about something, if something is weighing on me, I come out and I talk about it. I am the way my mind works, it's always going. So, I mean, it's always going, so I don't really, I plan it sometimes, like if I have something, like if somebody makes a request and want me to talk about a particular subject, then I may think it out a little bit more. And like I said, if I watch something and I want to take notes, I take notes a lot actually. If that sort of thing, I do think out to a certain degree and I plan it, but for the most part, it's I'm trying to just speak on the climate in which that we're living in, and the realities in which that we're living in. And to me, ultimately, the solution to all that ails Black people is if we would just simply stop and try to understand each other first and foremost. Understand that we have to get back to a time where we could critique each other without us feeling defensive all the time or feeling offended. And we have to realize we have to love each other again. We have to love each other again if we're going to fix what's wrong.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Um, Critiquing each other. Now, you know, we live in a time where, especially in a time of media, you know, everything is real time, you know, 1 2 3, right?
Hmm.
I'm sitting down here in North Carolina and someone on the other side of the world could be watching me and hear exactly what I'm talking about just like that in a matter of seconds.
Right?
Now, we as Black folks within Black society, we have a tendency to get very offended when I think the truth is told, the hard truth, um, when we are critiqued, as you would say. And also, I believe the reason why that we get very upset and very offended from the critiquing, especially when the critiquing involves hard truth, is because a lot of us as Black people, our truths are very ugly. Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as Black people, we have ugly truths. So, do you believe that as a society that we try to separate ourselves from the hard truth, or better yet, live in denial of them?
I honestly think it's a little bit of both. I think it depends on who you're talking to. I think it depends on the situation. I think it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that we of all people, why do you think we have such a hard time having someone say, "Hey, this is jacked up. This is BS. This is bullshit"? Why do you think we of all people have such a hard time with that, even if it's true?
Honestly, I think it's because if you really want, like when I think about it, I think about the fact that everybody that I've known in my entire life, maybe they've been lying to me. Maybe they've been just, they taught me wrong. If you are not living in denial, if you're living in reality, you have to say that. You have to say, oh my gosh, I love my mother to death, but she has been lying to me this whole time and she was so freaking wrong. And I don't know if I can forgive her for that. Can a lot of people do that? I don't think they can. So they would rather hold on to, well, I don't want to feel differently about this person, or I don't want to feel differently about this situation. Because I think a lot of it too is a lot of us want to believe that we're different, that our situation is somehow different, that somehow our situation is better than the next, especially when we're in, if you're living in an impoverished society, an impoverished community. I remember when I was a kid, I always had a lot of stuff. I was broke. We was broke. My mom was on food stamps, all that other jazz. But we was like, but I always had stuff. I always had clothes. I always had shoes. I always had stuff. When I say my mom was a crackhead, she had us moving from here and there. And I don't know how our clothes got stayed with us. I don't know how we managed to do good in school, but I always had stuff. But if you go to school and you don't have this particular item, you're not as good, even though you still broke too. We live in those sorts of realities and that those sorts of mentalities, and they don't make sense. It's retarded, but that's where we're at. And if that's what my mind is, I think I'm better than you. So your situation is different from mine. So it's not as bad. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes.
We try to make ourselves better than the next, and a lot of the times it's not. It's just a different type of effed up scenario, essentially.
Yeah, well, we talk about this kind of stuff. What's good, brother Samuels? I see you up there. We often talk about this on my platform where we as black people, we often trade off. We trade off finances, monetary stuff, and we exchange it for some other type of currency. You know, we've often talked about how, some women believe that, they got 4 kids and 2 of their kids, baby daddies in their life. So they have more currency than the woman down the road who has 7 kids and their baby daddy is not in their life. So
Right.
I believe that we have made a trade-off, and we see these things as currency, even though we all broke.
Right.
We all broke. But see, I'm broke and I got on a pair of Jordans. You're broke and you wearing some knockoff joints. So I have more than you because
Right.
I'm broke like you, but I'm broke with Jordans.
Right.
So I
You know,
get where you're coming from.
I had a woman come on my page and tell me that she's been married 3 times. She's engaged again. She's had babies by every single husband. And she somehow came on my page and started thinking that somehow her situation was better than mine.
Mm.
But you got 3 kids by 3 different dudes. Your children are seeing you have failed, not just relationships, failed marriages. But you think your situation is better than mine because you can get men to marry you and I'm not married? Really? Oh, okay. That makes sense. To you, apparently, like it doesn't make sense, but we think like that. Like she really thought that, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Well, attention has become the new currency as well. The
So
more attention you get, it's almost like money, which is pretty stupid, but it's like money. If you get more attention than me, that means you're richer than me somehow. Um, I think because especially in media, we all in this media YouTube world, and in media, it's easy to say you're better than somebody. It's easier to
right,
say you have more than somebody. It's easier. It's easy to say. It's really easy to say, even if it's a damn lie. All right.
right,
I mean, I could sit up here right now and tell you I got 5 Cadillacs in my yard. You
right,
can't see. You can't see if I'm lying or not. But I
right,
would be because I don't have 5 Cadillacs. But
Right.
yeah, but I could easily say that. And you can say, and I could even I could do better. I could take my camera outside and stand in front of somebody else's 5 Cadillacs and say they're mine. Yes, there's no way for you to say that they're not. You could
Right.
say it, but you can't prove that it's not. So media has given people a platform and the go ahead to say anything just because their black ass got lips. All right. A lot of the stuff that comes out of people's mouths, they're just saying it because they have lips. All right. There's no thinking behind it. There's no reason behind it. And I can tell you how a lot of people say stuff just because they have lips, because if they say something 5 minutes later, they'll contradict that shit 5 minutes later.
Right.
5 minutes later, they'll say the exact total opposite of what they just said 5 minutes ago, which lets you know what they were saying had no thought behind it whatsoever. It's like they're like a tape recorded message that just loops and loops and loops and loops over and over and over. Um, but the reason why I wanted to have you on is because, like I said, I mean, your content is good. I like it. And like I said, I don't watch many females because, like I said, it's a bunch of noise. So if it ever came a time when you were being, because I'm actually surprised. Well, they're not going after you because you're a woman. I couldn't say the things that you say on your platform. If I was saying them, my channel would be flagged. They'd be sending me hate email and all that kind of, man. If I was saying it, because I get it now. I get it now from the shit that I do. I get
Mm-hmm.
told that I hate women, that I bash women, which is stupid. Because if you look through my archives, my platform is full of women. I have women on my team. All right. I have a bunch of women on my team. So if I hated them, why are they on my shit? But like I said, I mean, media has given people a platform to just say anything. But let me talk to you about this. Now, as a single parent, right? As a single
Mm-hmm.
parent, do you believe that you have to do things the total opposite of your own mother? And the reason why I say that, because I'm a true believer that a lot of times our mothers fuck us up. All right. I know people write me and say, "Oh, X, you shouldn't say that," but it's the truth. A lot of times our mothers really fuck us up. And I think a lot of the problems that we have in Black society, a lot of us, if we trace those problems back, we'll find that our mother is usually at the root of them, at the center of them, or she is the beginning of them. What's your take on that?
I agree because, like, I keep saying this in streams, like I keep saying it because I want people to really think about it, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, that if we think about it, we are gonna have to say everything that somebody that I know and love like taught me wrong. You'll have to admit that, and going back to the question, when you hear a lot of these women talk, if you really hear a lot of let me go back. Let me go back. Let me just share my thought process about this first. My thought process about it is, okay, you say that um this is the problem. The problem is um the like main problem that people say in our community. The main problem, black fathers being missing. That's the problem with the black community. Okay, so let's think about this. What these kids are acting like this because black fathers wasn't there. Okay, cool. Their father should have been there. Yes, that played a role, but you were there. So what were you doing? What were you doing that was promoting this behavior, encouraging this behavior? What were you doing? Something that you were doing was influencing this too, because you're the one that he was seeing or she was seeing. You're the one that they were around. The father wasn't there. You just said that. Because as soon as your child comes home saying something that they done picked up from a teacher, that they picked up from another relative, that they picked up from another student, you're like, oh my gosh, how did they learn this stuff? Oh yeah, they've been around somebody else, but you don't. But we, it's like we don't stop to think, oh, our children are watching us too. If we're displaying bad behavior, chances are they're going to repeat the bad behavior and not the good behavior. So what are you doing? What were you doing? You have to ask yourself those questions. If as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I'm concerned, a lot of women do not ask themselves that question. I don't see where it's happening for the most part.
Do you believe that we have this thing with us as people where our mothers are, they are the can do no wrong person in our life? I often talk about this, where, you know, we often grow and we resent our fathers, but our mothers beat the crap out of us till we were bloody. We watched her march men in and out of the damn house. She barely fed us, barely clothed us. She treated us like shit, but we still hold her up high. And our father, we hate him. And the only thing he did was leave. Only thing he did was leave. But mom made our life hell, but somehow we are still supposed to hold her up high. Why? Is it because we came out of her damn vagina? Is that what it is? Because we came out of mom's vagina that that we should hold her high and forgive all of the shit she did to us and not forgive our father who did nothing to us except leave?
You know, that's why we're having this problem today, honestly. It's because we, like I said, we can't admit that our some of us just refuse to admit that our mothers were not perfect. We refuse to admit it. We refuse to admit that, hey, I kind of see why my father left. Look at you. You're a mess. But you can't say that because you respect her, because it's been beaten into your head that you have to respect your elders. It's been beaten into your head that you have to respect your mother and your father because you probably was raised in church, and that's one of their favorite sayings to the children, and we know it. Like, you was raised to fear your mother, you was raised to respect your mother, you was raised to be like that. And now you're going out into the streets and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm still thinking like this, but it's really not working out. But you don't really realize that because that's a hard truth to deal with. You don't want to really deal with that. You don't want to deal with the fact that your mama made you a weak man, a weak individual. You don't want to deal with that. A lot of women don't want to deal with the fact that it's the women that's in their family that's screwing them over more than it's the men in their families. It's your aunts that's talking to you crazy. It's your mother talking to you crazy. It's your grandmother talking to you crazy. But when you go out here, but they're not talking to your little cousins like that. So when you go out here in this world, you're resentful towards men instead of towards the women that's being cruel to you. You're willing to take that out on every man that you see instead of your auntie that was talking to you crazy, instead of your grandmother that was talking to you crazy, or your mother. You're not going to do that. So we have a bunch of grown men and women out there taking out their anger on everybody but the people that they need to be taking out their anger on. And if you don't want to be angry, let it go and stop acting like that. But don't nobody want to do that either.
I believe that oftentimes, just like men build men, I believe that women create simps. Oftentimes, I think brothers find themselves in a kind of simp position due to the fact that they were treated a certain way by mom or their aunt or grandma or whoever. And I believe that they have been conditioned to be the way they are as far as women are concerned due to the women that, you know, influenced them and raised them and reared them. I believe that simps were created by these women. What do you think?
I completely agree. I made a video about it. It was fun too. But yeah, I completely agree. Cause like I said, if you as a little boy is being drilled in your head, do as mommy say, or mommy's not gonna be happy, and these kids love to make us happy. That's they had a brighter smile on their face if they know you happy with them. Like, so you're gonna keep doing it. So when you become a grown man and mama call you in the middle of the night and you run, you don't really understand that that's not a good look because you thinking you're being loyal to your mother. You think you being loyal to women, and it's like, no, these women are wrong and they treating you bogus, but you don't want to see that because you think you're being loyal or something, and it's not really a good look.
I agree. I think that we often talk about how many women who didn't grow up with their fathers as young girls have a daddy issue or a daddy complex. I think a lot of young men have a mommy complex and a mommy issue. I really truly believe that. I'm looking up here and I see that the likes are not the same as the people watching. Y'all know I hate that. So take your hand and guide it slowly with that mouse and get right here. See, right there. See right there. Click that button. Click the button, click the button, click the button. Click the button as you come in. And if you didn't click it as you came in, please click it on the way out. Tip your waiter. And if you're feeling generous, look along here. Matter of fact, let me put it in there for you. Look along here and you'll see the old stream. Oh, damn, that was the link, I think. My bad, y'all. My bad. Hold on. Look right here. See right there. You're looking. Are you looking? Right there is the old PayPal Streamlab link. If you're feeling generous, drop a few coins in the bucket. It will be appreciated. We got Ashley W here live tonight here on T.P.O.T. If you don't like me, you gotta like her, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have your black asses here. Ashley. Now, here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page, we often talk about hoes, we talk about simps, we talk about baby mamas, we talk about illegitimacy, we talk about all that stuff. We go right along the gauntlet here. Now, right now, I want to talk about hoes. Now, I believe hoes have played a part in society as well, because a lot of those hoes end up with a bunch of kids. You know, if you out there screwing any and everybody, it's almost inevitable that you end up with a bunch of kids, especially if you're not practicing safe sex, if you're not practicing protected sex. So do you believe within Black society that there is a whore culture, and I don't mean just with women, with men, do we have a whore culture in Black society?
Absolutely. Because I think so. Because like men pretty much think that the more women you can sleep with, the better for the most part. A lot of them. Women out here, a lot of women feel like they can do what they want to do with their body. It's their body, and that's just what it is. People want to do what they want to do, and you can't tell them nothing about what they're doing.
Well, me, I want to round all niggas up and ship them all off to Nigger Island and let them stay there forever, no return. But that's not going to happen. So, what do you think? First, I want to ask you, what do you think women should do to bring about some change in Black society? Then I want to know what you think men should do in Black society to kind of change it.
I mean, for the most part, I think both people, everybody needs to start controlling their hormones. It's okay that you want to get down. Nothing wrong with it. I know how it is. Not saying you shouldn't do it either, but make sure you protecting yourself. It's not hard. If a child does come about, hey, be adults. Can we be adults? Can we start being adults and saying, hey, I know it is what it is. This was not the intention. However, it is what it is. This child is here now. We have a duty and a responsibility. Let's not involve the courts. Let's just be reasonable adults. Have the conversations that y'all probably should have had before you had sex. It's just like today I feel like we're such whores. I feel like all of us are whores, like every last one of us. Like I feel like we all the society has become this way because it's become so easy. You have options. You have all sorts of options. All you have to do is go on a particular website at a particular time or any website at any time, and you can get some sex from somebody. Sometimes you have to pay for it, sometimes you don't. But it's so available. What do you do with that? People can't help but to engage, and people can't help but to overdo it because I think that's just human nature. A lot of people don't can't control themselves. That's why civilizations keep falling. That's why this one will fall because people don't know how to control themselves.
Well, we as Black folks, I think we over sexualized anyway. Black society is very over sexualized, and I think due to the fact with many of us, maybe not with all of us, due to the fact that we are exposed to sexual contact, sexual activity, sexuality at a really, really early age. I often cite this statistic that says somewhere between 60 and 70% of our young girls get molested by the time they're 12, and 25% of our young boys. So you're talking 1 out of every 4 young boys get molested in Black society, and 6 and 7, and in the inner cities they say it may be as much as 80%. So let's just say 7 out of 10 young girls get molested by the time they're 12. So when you have a society of young children coming up sexually molested way before they realize what the hell is going on, of course, you're going to have a lot of teenage pregnancy. Of course, you're going to have a lot of promiscuity, because when children are exposed to sex way before they understand it, as soon as they're old enough to express it, they're going to. I mean, if you got a 8, 9, 10-year-old girl who's been exposed to grown men's penises at the age of 8, 9, or 10, what you think she gonna do when she get out there and get 14, 15, 16, and vice versa. With a lot of the young men, they find themselves molested, and then they go off. Those who don't have sexual activity at a young age, a lot of them, many of them, probably not all of them, but many of them go off to molest others. So we are so sexually exposed at such a young age, and I think that that plays a big part in the over sexualization of Black people. What's your take on that?
I agree. I mean, like, I was exposed to sex at an early age. Like, I saw my first penis when I was like 7.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
I don't know what the heck. I'm sitting there like, what the heck is that? What is that? What do you do with that? You don't go tell anybody about it either, because what do you say? How do you tell your parent that somebody just exposed themselves to you without, especially with this sick world that would think that people ask for stuff like that. Like, how do you even come to terms with that? It's a lot of stuff that, and then, like, this is, oh my gosh, this is why I feel like we have, like, drifted. Like, what is going on with this society? Like, that is sickening. I did not know that statistic, and that's sickening. That is disgusting. Like, why are we out here touching kids now? Like, for real, what about a child is attractive? They're a child. They're a child. Scrawny bodies is attractive. They look disgusting. They're not attractive. Ugh, what? Oh my God. What are people doing?
You know, you know what I think it is. The reason why these people do what they do to these children is because these children are easy targets. They're easy targets. I don't even think, I think sex is the tool that they use, but I think that people crave the power over another human being, and who easier to impose your power and will on than a child, because they don't know as much as you. You can convince them of shit. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a power thing, and I think the sex is a tool to exhibit the power over the person. Now, I do think that something's going on up here. Make no mistake. I do believe something's going on up here. But I do believe that what's going on up there is these people have a sense of they want to influence and exhibit their power over another human being, so they choose an easy target, and that easy target is usually a child. But see, this is what pisses me off, um because we have a lot of that within Black society. And oftentimes when these young girls and these young boys find themselves molested, touched, raped, sexually abused by people, it's usually people that the mother has exposed these children to. It's usually their mother who has given these creeps access to the child. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's usually mom, because it's mom's boyfriend, it's a babysitter, it's Uncle Jimmy, it's grandpa, it's somebody like that that mom has given access to the child. Um you say that you were exposed to a penis at 7 years old. I mean, what did that do to you as a child, then a teenager, then an adult? What did that do to you? I mean, what did it do?
I don't know because like sometimes it's like I feel like I don't understand. I don't think I understood what it was at that point. So it wasn't until like later experiences that I think really shaped that in me. Like, cause I don't think I didn't understand what it was at that point. I really didn't. Like, I wasn't getting exposed. Like, it's just like I like walked in on it and I'm like, oh my gosh, and it was like that was it. But like, I don't think I really understood what it was at that point. It wasn't until I got older and I was like, oh my gosh, that was kind of deep. Like,
So did it scar you? Did it scar you? Did it make you more curious about did it make you more curious about men? Did it make you more curious about sex? Did it make you more curious about yourself as you grew?
I never, like I said, I never really thought about it because at that point I didn't really know what it was and I didn't put two and two together at that point. Like it didn't, and it never really did, I guess. It never really, oh, like I just, the older I get, that it just said, oh, it was just a, why did that even happen in the first place type of thing. It wasn't like this is shaping me to want to do anything. It was like, why did I even have to see that type of thought process?
So do you believe that what this person who did this to you, were you was that person given access to you by your mom?
No, he was just a neighborhood boy. We it was a lot of kids in this neighborhood, and they had like across the street. It was like this, like the little I don't, we didn't have tree. It wasn't a tree house. So I don't want to call it a fort either. Like the little wood houses, stuff, crap that us little kids would have in the backyards of houses or whatever. And I like he was in there. I don't know what the heck he was doing. I'm just walking around trying to find some kids, and I walked in on whatever he was doing
Mm.
with himself.
So being that you are a mother, I mean, are you extra careful about, the guys you screen, the guys you date, the guys you think about dating? Like, do you look for the red flags? Do you look for do you do the things to not only protect yourself from having something happen to you? Do you do the things that would protect your child just in case you and this guy get serious? Do you do those things?
Oh yeah, like I don't. Um, Very rarely would a guy even spend the night at my house if my child is around. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Um, I don't. If I don't think some dudes I've talked to, they don't even know my child's name. Like they like if I don't feel like it's gonna go anywhere, you're not gonna know anything about her. You might see a picture, but you're not gonna know anything about her. Like you're not gonna have that type of access to her. Cause no, 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 no. And at this point, like I'm like happily single, so it's nothing even going down, so I don't even have to think about it.
Okay. Well, you say you're happily single, but a lot of women are not. Um, they have three, and four, and five, and six, and seven, and a million kids. they have they have six, seven, eight kids, but they're still out there searching, which I don't know why they're doing that because they should be focusing on those six or seven kids as opposed to running out there trying to get another one up in them because penis is what got them in the predicament that they're in now. Um, what do you think about what do you think about uh women who already have five and six and seven and eight kids and whatnot? What do you think about these women still out there trying to lasso men? And what do you think about the men who get with them? What do you think about them?
I think that whole situation sounds pathetic and sad. Like, look, if you having If you got that many kids, one, a man should be the furthest thing from your mind, like for real. Do your children have everything they need? Because it's got to be impossible to really take care of them properly. Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Stop. And as far as the dudes that date them, like a lot of the times, I hate to say it, a lot of times they even bigger low lives than she is. So it's like they probably really belong together, but it's just the sad, sad mess, and those poor kids, the poor babies. All I ever think about is the babies. Like I don't really care about what these stupid adults do. I care about these kids that's getting exposed to this crap and they don't have any other choices and they're just learning horrible things and they may never understand how detrimental what they've been taught is. Like they may never know. And that's even sadder.
Yep. That's I often talk about that too. I mean, on this platform, like, we're giving these kids this education, man, and this education is backwards as hell. We're teaching them things that they probably don't need to know. And in return, we're not teaching them the things that they need to know.
Right.
So, I mean, they're getting educated totally in reverse. And it seems like we have normalized it. Like the stuff just seems so normal to us. Like it's just normal that, it's normal for people to be living in a society where no one really cares about planning a family. No one really cares about making sure that the guy you move into your house with your 4 or 5 babies isn't some crazy, whacked out pedophile child molester. No one cares about these dudes who run around. Man, I've read stories where dudes have 30, 40 baby mamas. I mean, no one cares like that. It's just normal. It's just perfectly normal. And I think that when we stop seeing that kind of stuff as normal, maybe things will change. But unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to live to see it. All right. I don't think I'm going to live to see it. I'm already in my 40s and I probably got way more days behind me than I have in front of me. So I just don't think I'm going to see those changes. Do you believe that there's going to be some change? Do you see any change over the horizon far as black society is concerned?
I do because we out here. I do. Like I said, like I'm more concerned about the children. If we can start reaching some of these children, then I think we can start turning this stuff around. Like we have to. And I have a lot of people come on my platform and tell me things like, there's no hope, there's, that like, that there's nothing that you can do, just you should just give up and um you care too much and just all sorts of craziness to me because I'm like, well, I have a child, so I can't care too much. That's impossible because I care about my child. I want her to have a freaking future and a good one at that. So there's no such thing as me caring too much. There's no such thing as there's no hope to me. There is a lot of hope. Because if I can get her to do right, and if I got a couple of other brothers and sisters out here that's raising their children right, and we can get our children together like we used to do, like like most people do today still. But if we can get it to a way to if black people can do it in a way that is actually benefiting black people and not what we've been doing these last 20, 30 years, we can change this within another generation or two. But we have to start. We have to start. We can't keep saying that it's too late. We can't keep saying that it's nothing that we can do. We can. You have some children, that's your start right there. Start deciding that you want to have a legacy. Start deciding that you want your children to have an inheritance, that you want to have something to pass down. Stop. You can't pass down a job. You can't pass down an apartment. You probably won't pass down your car. You can pass down a bank account, though. You can pass down some savings bonds, though. You can pass down some property, though. This is how other people are staying wealthy. This is how other people are getting wealth. We're not getting wealth because we're not doing these things. As soon as some of our people die, we quick to sell the house. How much can we get for this house? That's the first thing on almost a lot of people's minds. They don't even think about, how about it? Maybe I put a little money into it, fix it up, and rent it. It's already paid off. All it is the taxes, and if you get a renter, you can pay the taxes off your rent. What are you doing? But you so willing to sell it for pennies, for some money that you gonna spend in a year or less, when you can have steady income. We don't think about stuff like that, and that's stupid to me.
Well, let's talk about that because we often talk about legacy on this show as well. Often we as Black people, we don't really have, things to leave. We don't have anything to leave. A lot of us, we don't have life insurance. A lot of us,
But we could.
We don't have bank accounts. A lot of us, we don't own the damn house we
Man,
live in.
show on life insurance. Life insurance is pretty doggone cheap.
Yes,
What
it
some of y'all
is.
spend on fast food a month, you can have life insurance policies on everybody in your family.
Yep. Shoot, my wife got one on me. I get killed, she get $120,000. Worth more dead than alive. But the thing is with us, I think a lot of us don't believe in legacy. Because we weren't taught it. We weren't taught legacy. We figure, our mother didn't leave us shit, so we're not gonna work to leave our kids anything. Dad didn't leave us nothing, so we're not working to leave our kids anything. And I think that's a mistake because you can be the start of said legacy.
Right.
You can purchase stocks, you can purchase bonds. I know I did it, and let me tell you something. I've had a pretty crazy past. So if I can do this shit, anybody can do it. All right. If I can do it, any of y'all out there can do it. Right. If I can have a life insurance policy on my Black ass, all of y'all can do it. If I can own some stocks so I can leave my grandchildren something, y'all can do it. If my ass can have a bank account, y'all can have a bank account. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? And also, I believe that we as a Black society, we haven't learned, a lot of us don't have that entrepreneurial spirit. A lot of us don't want to create our own thing. Like me, I own my own business. All right. I've owned my business for a few years now. And the first 2 years was rough as hell because I was in the red the whole 2 years. But I've come around and now I'm finally in the black, and I also have employees and everything else. So even with that, if my Black ass can do it, you can do it. Trust me, you can do it, folks. If you have children, you should be thinking 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road. You should be thinking that. I think the problem with us, Ashley W., is number one, our Black asses don't never think we're going to get old. We think our children are never going to grow up. And we think that magically some money's going to fall out the sky one day. All we got to do is keep waking up. And one of those days we're going to wake up and it's going to be a box of damn money on the porch. So what do you think far as financial, in the financial sense, economic sense? What would you tell women, because you're a woman, and they'll probably listen to you before they listen to my ass? what would you tell women who are, have a few kids and, and had them by two, three dudes, and maybe they've had a revelation. They say, okay, I ain't having no more. What would you tell them to do to start trying to plan for 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road?
Um, what your education look like? What you doing on that front? First of all, that's first and foremost, because we, as Black people, have to understand that going to college isn't a guarantee. It definitely isn't. However, if you major in the right things, it can be more of a guarantee. And you have to set yourself up for success. Like, you have to put yourself in situations that you're going to succeed. Like, you have to stop acting like you can't do something because you got kids. You can't let feel so defeated. Like, I know it's hard and it's going to continue to get hard because the kids going to keep growing. It's only going to get more expensive, and then they're going to leave, and then what you going to do? Then they're going to be out there struggling too, and they still going to be calling you asking you for money. So you have to start thinking about, what can I do to better myself that's going to also bring in more income? What can I do to cut back what I'm already spending that I don't have to? Like, okay, like, say, because like I had, I when I like, I was on food stamps once upon a time. I was unemployed. Happens. No, but I was unemployed, and do you know, I would go to the store, like, even not being on link, like, that's what we call the EBT card here in Illinois. Um, that's what, like, even if you just go into the store, period, in some of these stores in Chicago, like, you could walk around and tell who has link and who doesn't. Like, their carts is full of processed foods, it's full of sugary beverages, full of junk and crap, and you don't have to do all of that. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to sell your link to buy kids Jordans. If you're going to sell your link, how about you go invest in something that might actually be beneficial to you? But we, like I said, we having our priorities all messed up. You selling your link so you can go get a weave. You selling your link because your child did what they were supposed to do and got straight A's. So you think it's a wise thing to do to reward them with lavish gifts. That doesn't make any sense. That's what they're supposed to do. Children are supposed to go to school, behave, and get good grades. They're not supposed to be rewarded for that type of crap. Do you know how irritated I used to get when I was a teenager and people would tell me that they get money for every A that they get? What the? That's what you're supposed to do. What other responsibility do you have as a child? But we're rewarding our kids for doing the stuff that they're supposed to do. We're, as adults, we're wanting to be rewarded for the things that we're supposed to be doing. What type of sense does that make? And we wonder why stuff is so ass backwards. What do you want to be? You want a pat on the back for doing what you're supposed to be doing. You want a pat on the back for being an adult. You're an adult. Good job. What do you mean? Tell yourself good job. Why are you looking for validation everywhere?
So, do you believe that often within Black society we have cultivated this we've cultivated this being rewarded for what you suppose to do kind of culture where, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to get a round of applause. And if you think that way, fine. But what about when you're not doing the shit you're supposed to do? What should you get then? And I think that we haven't figured that part out yet.
No,
What do
because
you
I
go ahead.
think that's the dirty truth, though. That's the dirty truth. The dirty truths are we do have people out here messing up and nobody's willing to really call them out and say, hey, dude, you messing up. Chick, you are messing up. Nobody's really doing that on a real level. Not personally. Like, how many of us really call our friends out? How many of us really call our family out? Or do we just say, hey, I'm just going to avoid this drama. I'm going to avoid this. So I'm just going to let them continue to be ignorant.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that us as black folks, especially us on black media, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, do you believe that we as black people, we may pathologize shit too much? And when I say pathologize, we have a tendency to, blame things on the white power structure. We blame things on white supremacy. We blame things on all this other systematic, discriminatory, racist shit. And there's truth to it. But I do believe that oftentimes we as black people, we give these white supremacists and white power structure pathologies. I think we give them way too much credit for a lot of the shit that goes on. Now, mind you, I understand that, the white power structure, white supremacy, I understand all that shit exists. All right. But not everything is because of white supremacy. Not every goddamn thing is. For the life of me, I cannot believe that everything that happens to black people is because of white supremacy and not black idiocy at times. What you think about that?
I think everything ultimately is because of the system in which we live in. But at the same time, I feel like, why do you have to be the stereotype? Why do you have to be that way? Why because they told you that's what you are, that you feel like you have to be that way? Who told you that? Because white people say black women are loud and this, and we have to have this strong black woman attitude. So we go around wearing it like a badge of honor. So why do you feel like you have to do that? You some of our guys, you feel like you got to be Mr. Player. I can get all the women and blah blah blah, and if I knock a chick up, who whatever, it doesn't matter. And like, why do you feel like you have to be that way? Why does that have to be cool? Why does that have to be you? Why do you have to be the gosh darn stereotype? Why even buy into that? You see, it doesn't really get anybody anywhere, but yet and still we still doing the same. Like, we buying into the stereotypes. Like, why do we have to do this? Like, we're letting them tell us who we are, and why are we still letting them tell us who we are? You figure that out. These people they know more about you than you know about you. They know about our history than we know about our history. We've been roaming this earth since the beginning of time, and we out here acting like we don't know that. Every single country that's on this earth, we have stepped foot in, and there is evidence of that. And we out here acting like we don't know that. We out here acting like we don't know that we descend from greatness. Everything about us is greatness, and we out here acting like we don't know that, and that devastates me. We are freaking fantastic. Everybody wants to be us. People hate us. There wouldn't be the system wouldn't be there if it wasn't meant to destroy us, if it wasn't meant to cause this divide that we have now, if it wasn't meant to do that, it wouldn't be there, and it wouldn't be as successful as it is. And I feel, and I like, because like I said, I agree with you. I really do agree with you, because I also feel like at this point we're creating talking points for them. We're creating some of these talking points. They don't even have to talk about it anymore, because we'll create them for them. We'll push their agenda for them. They don't have to do it anymore. because we're doing it
We've
and we're
we've
okay with it.
we've taken it over. I
We
believe we
have.
I believe we've taken it over.
That's why they don't have to go come on the news and say nothing crazy about us. That's why they can have a black person come out there on national platforms talking crazy because we doing it. Yes, it's their fault, and yes, they have like I said, people that know me know it's about this balance. Yes, they're wrong as ever. Nobody would ever say that these people aren't wrong, but at the same time, like I said, why you got to be the stereotype? Why are we still letting them determine everything about us? Like, why? I'm tired of this, man. Cause we was doing so much better when we was together, and we was saying, forget them. Y'all didn't want us, and we don't want y'all. Forget it. Like maybe I don't know. Was it really? I don't know what this integration crap was about. Like I wasn't there. I really wish I was because I would have been pushing not for it. I know we cool. Like I don't know
Well,
what we
a
was
lot
about.
a lot of us we wanted to be integrated within white society. We wanted to be accepted by white society. We had our own diners, we had our own transportation companies, we had our own cleaners, we had our own stores, but that wasn't good enough. We wanted to be in white daddy's store, we wanted to be in white daddy's diner, we wanted to ride in white daddy's taxi instead of our own, because we felt like if we were able to ride in white daddy's taxi, if we were able to go into white daddy's restaurant, if we were able to shop in white daddy's store, we would somehow gain equality, and equality is not a reality for black people in this country ever. It's just not. It's just not. It's not a reality. If let me tell you something. If someone came to me right now and said, "Hey, look, X, we got this place, and only black folks is there. There's no white people there. There's nothing there." Now, of course, I would think about it because the first thing I would ask is there any niggers there? Because I don't mind being around black people, but I don't want to live around a bunch of black ass niggas. So the first thing I would say is any niggas there. If they say no, I'll be like, okay, I'll come there, move my business there, hire people there, and the whole nine. I'd be one of the first people on the train, on the boat, on the ship, whatever, to go there. But see, what often happens is that a lot of us, we don't want that. All right. And I say this a lot, and people who follow me know I say this a lot because some of us just love white people. We love white folks. Some of us just love white folks. We can't get enough of them. We fear them. We idolize them. We deify them. We do all of that all at one time. What do you think?
I that type of behavior is just asinine to me. Like I've never I don't have a like see my thing is I've grown up around white people. I have white people in my family because obviously I have people that like white women and have some cousins that like white men. So I've grown up around white people. So I just don't really care about them. Like the ones that I was exposed to coming up, I was like, y'all not better than me, so because y'all here and y'all married to these mugs, so y'all clearly aren't too much. So I never had that, oh my gosh, white people are so much better than me type of mentality because I'm like, y'all are nothing. And then I remember when I was learning about the civil rights, I remember thinking like, why were we so interested in sitting next to people that was calling us niggas and willing to spit in our face and willing to sick dogs on us and turn hoses on us and bomb churches with little girls in them? Like, why are we so interested in sitting next to these people? I don't want to sit next to them. Nothing about them is appealing to me. Like that disgusts me. Like Y'all are having, like, I remember seeing those pictures of the black men being lynched, and little white girls just standing there looking, and I'm like, and dudes, y'all want to date these women? Ladies, y'all want to date these men? That's disgusting. Like, what are we thinking about? And like, my biggest thing is, like, we act like because a piece of paper was signed that these mentalities just up and disappeared. People just stopped being racist because the Civil Rights Act got signed. Really? That's stupid. That is completely stupid. But that's what we think. I really think that a lot of us think like that. And that's stupid.
Well, you know what's even worse? We actually have people, and we talk about this often too. We actually have people who, black folks at that, black people, who actually will say that we live in a post-racial society, that racism isn't as bad as it used to be. And, you know, those good white folk and, you know, all that crap. That's what you hear from some people. Now, I think they're totally out of their minds, of course, but a lot of us do think that way. We think we live in this post-racial society. We think that white folks like us more than they did 60 years ago. And we think that racism isn't this big old behemoth anymore. It's little. You know, it's only in little pockets of the world, which I think is straight bullshit. Um, far as white folks go, though, do you think that we as black people, are we trying to hold ourselves up to a white standard? Do you believe that?
I don't know what the heck we doing, because I don't know what the white standard is. What I see white people doing, I see white people out here killing each other in large numbers. I see them out here doing disgusting things to each other. What white standard? What type of standard do you want to live up to? These mugs are out here just taking, like, I was watching Take Your Meds. I went to sleep on it. These kids out here on Adderall, like, trying to make it, and just they crazy. What standard are you trying to live up to? What do you think that they're doing that is so much better than what we're doing? Because, to be perfectly honest, they're a whole lot worse. What's going on in their community is a whole lot worse than what's going on in ours. They have money to deal with their problems, and they're not dealing with them. We don't. They have a whole gosh darn opioid epidemic going on, killing them. Their numbers are naturally declining. They're dying off. They have major issues. But instead of trying to focus on them, they still worried about what we doing. What standard are you trying to hold yourself up to? Please tell me. I don't know. I really want to know. Cause that sounds stupid. Like, people are really out here doing this. Like, what standard? These people are trash.
Well, you
They
know,
they out here doing worse things than you doing, and they telling you that you the savage. Quit it.
the white man's ice is colder.
That don't make no doggone sense.
It doesn't, does
Same
it?
freaking ice. It come out the same freezer. And like I said, they not doing anything that y'all not doing, if not worse.
Mm.
Trust me.
I always thought that, you know, we as black people, I always thought that we would always hold some kind of standard for ourselves. I always thought that we would say, okay, we've been systematically oppressed for many, many years. We've been tortured, we've been raped, we've been killed, we've been burned, we've been kept out of things. So you would think that that would strengthen our resolve, and it appears that it has weakened it somewhat, because many of us, not all of us, many of us have kind of acclimated and said, okay, well, I'm going to try to be accepted by white folk. I'm going to try to get myself affirmed by white folk. I'm going to try to get white folks to accept me, even at the cost of throwing black folks under the bus. There's a lot of that on YouTube. You have brothers, and everybody who watches me, they probably watch these brothers too. They have a tendency to they throw us under the bus as black folks, even though they're black, and they embrace white ideology. They embrace white talking points. They embrace white visions of black people. Now, oftentimes people call them coons and sambos and everything else, race traders and all that kind of stuff. But I don't necessarily believe that's what they are. What I believe is they are people who have a lost identity. Their identity is lost, and they want to do every damn thing they can to find it. The only thing is, they're looking for it in the wrong place. They're looking for it within white society instead of looking for it over here with us. That's what I believe. I think calling them coons and sambos is just too easy. It's too easy to say that. It's too easy to say, oh, he's a sambo, he's a coon, and just dismiss it. I don't think it's that simple. I really don't. I think it's something else going on. Either that or these people feel like black folks have betrayed them. Black folks have did something to them. Black folks have made their life harder. And of course, there's also the financial incentive. A lot of times these brothers do what they do to appeal to white folks because white folks have more money. So if you appeal to white folks, maybe you make more money. I don't know. But if white people do you believe that you have, because I know I don't have that many. I don't have that many white followers. At least I don't think I do. I haven't went through my list of subscribers lately. Do you believe you have white followers?
Oh, I already know I do. I have
Male
a
or
white person on my Patreon.
male or female?
It's males. I have a handful of white male subs.
And why do you believe they follow you? What do you think they follow you for? Is it for your
Because
content or just to see your face on the screen?
it might be a little bit of both. But I think for the most part, because at the end of the day, like I try to be I try to get black people to understand that, like I said, this stuff, whatever they got us thinking that's exclusive to us is not. So a lot of white men come to my page and say, "Look, it is not just black women that's acting like this; it's white women too." So it's like it's not just it brings more validity to the point that I'm trying to make, that it's not just us, and we need to get out of our heads and thinking that it's just us acting like this or doing certain things that's dysfunctional. It's not just us being dysfunctional. This whole society, this whole world is dysfunctional. It's not just black people. Our dysfunction is just more widespread and it's more publicized than everybody else's. That's it. That is the only difference. They expect you to be dysfunctional. It's expected of you, but of them it's not. Although that they are the most dysfunctional of them all, it's not expected, so it's nothing. That so we act like it doesn't exist.
Mm.
And as far as people that chooses to try to fit into the dominant society more than they try to fit into ours, I want to know, what do you think those people think of you? Do you think that they respect you? Do you think that they really like you? Do you think that they really care? Do you think that you trying that hard is going to get you somewhere? Like for real? Like in the long run? Where do you think that's going to get you? And with the social climate being what it is, Do you really think that black people are going to really continue to take this? Like, do you really think that it's not black people out here getting their money together, getting their weight up so they can really do some stuff on a big scale? Do you really think that that's not happening? Do you really think that black people are not tired? Because we are. It's black people out here like really working on huge things, like really trying to make a huge difference, myself included. Do you really think if we get this thing popping and going and like it needs to go within the next 10, 15 years, do you really think you're going to be allowed to come back over here? You picked your side.
Well,
I don't
even
care about you. I care about you just as much as I care about them now. Good job.
well, you know us. I mean, we would take because we as a people we are so forgiving. We would take those people back, even
Nah,
though
they need to go. They need
even
to go
even
and they
though they
need to
threw
stay
us
gone.
underneath the bus, that we would take them back. We would. I had Black Ram on my show the other week, and he spoke about us buying land in, say, South America and in Africa, or somewhere like that. And he said that with all the money, because black people, we got about $1.2 trillion worth of spending power. We really do. I mean, black people, we we got enough spending power that we have more spending power than some countries have. $1.2 trillion, right? And he said that if we could just save half of that, save 500 billion, and just buy little parcels of land, and start having people over there, get our doctors together, our lawyers, our mechanics, our plumbers, our carpenters, our electricians, everybody, our farmers, and get everybody over there. Now, I'm going to ask you the same thing that I ask everybody who comes. If that happens, are you on the plane?
Absolutely. Why not? Why would I?
Okay.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand that people feel like we was like, we were in America first. Like, we weren't, maybe you feel like you wasn't one of the people that was brought over on the slave ship. And maybe you feel like you were maybe you one of the people, you just, you were just born here. Like, you're not African. You don't like to identify with Africa. Like, okay, that's not cool, but why would you want to stay in a place where you're not wanted? Like, why are we so desperate to be in a place where we're not wanted? Like, if I had the finances today to move out this country, to move to a country more friendly to black people, I would move. And at the drop of a dime. Because this is like, I'm tired. I don't want to go out, walk out the house and feel the racial tension. Like, why do I have to feel that? Like, why do I have to be? Why do I have to turn on and I don't turn on the news because I don't watch TV like that. But why do I have to flip through my news stories and see some more bull crap happening to black people and only black people? Why do I'm tired of always seeing white people get excused for every last thing that they do, and I'm tired. Why would I want to keep dealing with this? America has no resources. America is garbage. Why would I want to stay here? I'll go. Thanks. You've been great, America. You've been great.
Yeah.
You've been
I would be
great.
on the plane too.
But I'll
I
be
would I
gone.
would be on the
Exactly. I'll
plane.
be
Yeah.
gone. I'm gone.
Yes, I would.
Bye. I'm gone.
And I'd be trying to get other people to come too. But see, that's the thing. Some of us are not coming. They're just not going to come. You do realize that. Some of
Fearful.
us
We're too
are
scared.
not on the plane. They're going to refuse to be on the plane. They're going to refuse. And I say this often too. And I'll ask you. Some of us do not want to be saved. Some of us do not want better. Some of us do not want to take the steps to be saved, to create change, or to have better. That's just a fact. And people get mad with me when I say this kind of stuff, but it's true. Some of us don't want the change. When that plane take off, some of us are not getting on it. That ship sails, some of us are just not getting on it for whatever reason. I don't know why they wouldn't, but some of us are not. Just like some of us, when slaves was freed, some of the slaves actually stayed on the plantation, even though they were free. It'll be the same way with something like that. If we mount up, I don't know, 1,000 ships and 1,000 planes and start flying people over, some of us just aren't going. And let me ask you, why do you think that many of us are so reluctant to change?
I think it's a couple of things. I think fear being one of them. I think that, like, and when you think about it, it's like when you've been accustomed to doing something a certain type of way for a number of years, it's hard to say I'm going to stop doing this. It's hard to break these habits. It's hard to break some of these habits that we've been developing over these last couple of generations. Like it's going to be difficult to break them. And I think that fear of maybe I'll fail and maybe I won't be able to break it because, like I said, we have to start this. I feel like we have like a couple of generations that was just lost. Like little to no building got done, and it like just got lost. No progression, just lost. And we are essentially now have to start again, like all over again. And I think that scares a lot of people. I also think that some people don't want to really believe that it's as severe as it is. I don't think that people really understand the severity of what's going on because they don't look at any other place other than maybe their city, maybe their town, maybe their state. They don't look at what's really going on in other places or what's going on in the world as a whole. And I think when people start realizing what's really not only going on in America, like because unfortunately this type of stuff that's going on in America is not just happening in America, it's going on in other countries. So like as much as I would love to get on a plane to some black friendly place, it's going to be difficult to find because it's just hard because that's just the climate that we live in. And I don't think that people really understand how serious it is, not even white people. Because I feel like if white people would stop being so silly and stop trying to hate us so much, they'll realize a lot of them getting screwed over just as bad as we are. But they too stupid to realize that because they want to hate us so bad, so much. They've brought into that propaganda. It's like it's like so much deeper than I think people really understand, and they can't grasp how serious it is at this point.
Well, the best thing, and this is what I would advise you white folks to do. White people, your best bet is for you to probably go somewhere where it's all white. If you blame black folks for what's going on with you, you need to go somewhere where it's all white. Trust me, it'll be better for you. You won't have to see our black faces in the store. You won't have to see our black faces living next to you. You won't have to see any of that. So just pack up your shit and just move somewhere. If you hate black folks so much, just pack up your shit and move somewhere where there's just all white folks. I'm pretty sure some of those places still exist. And this has been a public service announcement from X to you white people. Um, Ashley W., I have enjoyed this conversation. Um, I knew I would. Like I said, I watched your stuff and you're a very insightful person. I was trying to get you on. Did you get my message? I was trying to get you to come on my Unicorn 4 panel on Thursday last week. I was like, damn, I couldn't get her on. I was actually hurt. My feelings were hurt.
I didn't end up getting home until like my life is my
Yeah,
life.
well,
No, look, I'm a single mother with a full-time job with
mhm.
a side job of a YouTube personality. Like it's a lot going on, and I still have to find a way to separate myself in a way, to keep my spirit intact. So I have to disengage sometimes. So I apologize.
Well, you're always welcome on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I have enjoyed this conversation, and you folks need to be hitting this damn link. I'm about to put it in here right now. I'm going to put this here right now. If I can get my mouse to work. Hit that link right there. If you're feeling generous, okay, it's right there. Right there, the old Streamlabs. And we also have a PayPal as well. We have that too. I'll put that in the chat as well. If you're feeling generous, and make sure you put some likes in that bucket as well. Y'all need to go down there. Y'all need to subscribe to Ashley W stream down there on YouTube, going down the road and subscribe. She has some really, really solid content. Um, I want to thank you for coming on T.P.O.T tonight. Like I said, you're always welcome on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. Maybe now and again you can stop by and maybe you can, sit in for one of the Unicorn 4 when they missing. I appreciate you showing up tonight. I do. It was a good conversation and I really enjoyed it. And I thank you for coming. I do.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I'm still going to continue to watch your stuff. Probably like the only female that I watch. So I'm going to continue to watch your stuff, Miss Ashley W.
No, I appreciate the support.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'll be down there. I might even throw some comments on one of your streams every now and then. So you might want to go down there and just go ahead and mod me right quick, so I can throw the bombs out. All right.
Right.
So I appreciate you, Ashley W, and I'll be talking to you. All right. Thank you for showing up tonight. I appreciate it, Lady
All right.
Ashley.
Thank you for having me. It was nice.
Oh, absolutely. Peace.
All right. Good night. I love y'all. Bye.
Yeah, well, we just got off the line with Miss Ashley W. Like I said, y'all need to go on down there and subscribe to her channel. She's got some solid content, man, and it's decent. You go down there, you're not gonna hear what you think you're gonna hear. Like I told her, we always hear a lot of the noise coming from some of the black women, but not from her. She don't come with the noise, man. She actually brings some hard truth, and it's a solid channel, and the content is good. That's why I wanted her on tonight. I wanted to just ask her a few questions and see what was going on in her head. I mean, her content, like I said, her content is solid, man. So y'all need to get on down there and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Now that we are coming to the end of the old T.P.O.T show, I want to remind y'all once again, tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Unicorn 4 will be live and direct here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, tomorrow night, and they will be talking about emasculation, the black man feminized. We're going to go into the whole feminization of the black man in America. We're going to talk about emasculation and how this country has tried to strip masculinity from the black man. So we're gonna get into it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going in, y'all. Yeah, we're going in tomorrow. Tomorrow we coming hard for y'all tomorrow. So I expect every single one of you to freaking be here tomorrow to catch the Unicorn 4 live and direct. I'm looking at my PayPal. I got a few donations. I will be going through them tomorrow, y'all. I'm not gonna go through them tonight, but I will go through them tomorrow. And what I will do is I will, like I always do, I always, write you a personal email, thank you and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go through them tonight, y'all, but I will go through them tomorrow. And trust me, you will be getting a personal email from old X, showing his appreciation. Like I said, been saying all night, you need to drop a few likes right up in here. And if you're feeling generous, drop a few coins right up in here. Be sure, okay, when you get some time, be sure to like, share this video, subscribe to this here channel, and make sure you go by Prophet of Thought Series on Facebook. That's Prophet of Thought Series on Facebook. That's our main page. Make sure you go there, follow the page, like the page. You can also keep up with what we got going on as far as the Unicorn 4 and the T.P.O.T network and the Dark Exodus series and the other series. All of that stuff will be up there to let you know what's going on there. Also, stop by the T.P.O.T bandwagon page. There's always good stuff popping up on there. Send us a request. We'll make sure we'll click it quick. And make sure you stop by the old Prophet of Thought Series fan group page. Request to be a member. You'll get in there really, really quick. Also, you can check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Prophet of Thought on Instagram. And make sure you stop by the Twitter page. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. I keep telling y'all, follow us on Twitter or I will haunt you in your sleep tonight. I never said tonight before. You don't follow us on Twitter, I'll haunt you in your sleep tonight. So follow us on Twitter and make sure you stop by the old Prophet of Thought Series website. I've been doing some building on it. It's coming along. It's still under construction, y'all. But as you can see, if you've been checking it out every couple of days or so, you see it changing. You go up there, you can kind of read what the Prophet of Thought Series is about, why it was started. You can also see Tribute to the Fallen. And guess what? You go there, you'll see the Unicorn 4 there now, too. All right. Pretty soon, you'll be able to access the Unicorn 4's page. They all going to have their own separate page with their bios and their information and their pictures and links to their content that they create as well. It's coming, y'all. X is working on it. So make sure you stop by the old website. The website is www.don'teventryit.wikifoundry.com. That's www.don'teventryit.wikifoundry.com. That is the Prophet of Thought Series website. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. I want to thank my mods for always doing a good job, always posting the links. And when my ass is too lazy to do it, they do it. I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up tonight. I appreciate you stopping by, and spending some time with us. And I also want to thank Ashley W again for taking some time out and spending some time with us. And like I said, make sure you have your black behinds here tomorrow, Unicorn 4, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. Like I always do, open your minds. And we Out of here, y'all.
The Prophet of Thought series.
Peace, folks.
Prophet of Thought series. Open your mind.